Hey, you. I know that you are just struggling to get by. I know you're just trying to live your life, maybe raising your kids, maybe helping your aging parents. Maybe you're a young kid trying to figure out how you're ever going to get a job or somewhere to live. I know that you think most politicians are corrupt and it doesn't matter what you do or say. It's just going to be the way that it is. And most of you don't pay attention to politics because it sounds like, but I'm here to tell you that if you don't pay attention, and you don't do politics, politics will do you. In fact, politics is doing you right now. And in this video, I'm going to break down for you why this Canada-US situation matters significantly to you and your family and your future. Mark Carney is the Prime Minister of Canada. Doug Ford is the Premier of Ontario. Donald Trump is the President of the United States. He is imposing tariffs on Canada. So Doug Ford decided that he would spend $75 million to run an ad in the United States during the World Series to hopefully convince the American people that Donald Trump is wrong and that he's going to stand up to Donald Trump and say, no way. Now, whether you agree or don't agree with what was in the ad, because there's some controversy around it, because he used Ronald Reagan, who is a very revered politician, his comments around tariffs, it actually doesn't friggin' matter. And the reason it doesn't matter is because of this. The United States of America's GDP, gross domestic product, is approximately $25 to $30 trillion. Canada makes up about $411 billion of that. For those of you who don't want to do the math, that's about 1.5%. Canada's total GDP, or gross domestic product, is $2.2 trillion. 75% of Canada's exports go to the United States. We are dependent on the United States. Why? Why are we dependent on the United States? We shouldn't be dependent on the United States, and I'll tell you why in just a second. But alas, we are. So you have Mark Carney, who ran an entire campaign that he was going to elbows up, he was going to fight with the big bad orange man. And now you have Doug Ford being like, yeah, I'm going to do this. He's had to back down every time he's done this. Why does he have to back down? Because you're going to fight with somebody that is stronger than you and you do not have the leverage. This is not an opinion. This is just the facts of the situation we are in. I do not for one second think that Canada is less than the United States. I live here. I'm a proud Canadian. I love Canada. I love Canada more than the United States. Do I love the United States? Yes. Do I have many friends, family there? Yes. Have they seen Doug Ford's ad? Absolutely not. In fact, it doesn't matter to them. Back to the dependence and why we don't need to. In August of 22, Germany knocked on Canada's door saying, we urgently want non-Russian gas. And Justin Trudeau said, oh, we don't want to do that. In fact, there is no business case to do that. What did Germany do? They went to Qatar. Billions and billions of dollars went to Qatar and the US. Japan also knocked on our door. We would like your LNG, please, Canada, because guess what? Canada has a lot of it. We don't have a little bit of it, folks. We have a lot of it. We have a lot of critical minerals. We have a lot of oil and gas, and we have what the world needs. But guess where it is? Oh, yeah, it's in the ground. So the Liberals turned down both Germany and Japan and left us in this position. Billions and billions of dollars. Don't worry though, Qatar got it. The US got it. They got all of that revenue that we won't get. And I want to tell you what's going to happen. So what would be the impact if, let's say, US decided to not deal with Canada at all? What would be the impact on their economy? And could they replace us with someone else? Yeah. And the impact on them is predicted around 0.5% decrease in their GDP. Whereas if we lost the United States, catastrophe. Job losses, which we're already seeing, consumer spending would slump. And when consumer spending slumps, guess what happens? You have a decrease in taxes. Taxes is how the government makes money. You have to understand how the Liberals think and believe. And now you have today, when I'm doing this video, Mark Carney's in Malaysia saying he's going to invest $1 trillion. Another trillion. 1.4, actually. So he promised that to Donald Trump, came back, got no deal. Then he is in Malaysia saying he's going to do another $1 trillion. but there's no business case for oil and gas. So the Liberals have repeatedly said one thing and done another. Then they've copied and pasted conservative policies. Let's use jail, not bail for an example. The carbon tax is another example. And they say they're going to get rid of these things, but they don't actually do it. So that is why we are in this position. So how do you fix it? Okay, so breaking it down, so just basically napkin revenue for one fast-tracked East Coast project. So if Japan and Germany, when they came to us and said, we want your oil and gas, and we had have said yes, which is what we should have done, but Justin Trudeau and the Liberals said no, because they actually don't believe in developing oil and gas, it would have been approximately $5.4 billion US per year. So Germany signed a 15-year supply tenor. So it was from 2026 to 2040, which was the Qatar deal. The undiscounted gross that a single project could have captured is on the order of 80 billion US dollars. So why didn't it happen? Well, St. John conversion was deemed uneconomic, okay? But more importantly, Ottawa's posture meant no East Coast export was accelerated in time to meet Germany's 2023 to 2026 windows. So the barrels went to Qatar and the US instead. So when I tell you there's a solution, it's there. And do not for 1 second not think that the Prime Minister is the one that can literally flick a switch to make this happen. 100% he has this power to fast track. In fact, he said during the election, we are going to have to do things at record speeds that have never been done before. And yet here we are, 7 months later, with nothing. And we get more and more vulnerable. More and more vulnerable because we are not doing this. So what does that mean for you? It means you have to have the knowledge. You have to have these discussions, because I can't stress to you enough how much it impacts your life. All of this garble-gooble about oil and gas and exports and GDP and US trade negotiations impacts what you pay at the grocery store, impacts how much it costs for you to live, for your house, for your kids' future. All of that. It matters to you. I can't stress this enough. You have to pay attention, and they are banking on you not paying attention. That's what they want. Because they're banking on you voting for somebody who seems real nice. Real nice. Oh, he's likable. He's likable, so I'm going to vote for him. Stop voting for likability and start voting for results. That is how we get out of this mess.